Let's also turn now to the railroads, as Washington appears to be on track in averting a railroad worker strike as the House passes a crucial bill, sending it now to the hands of the Senate. With more on this, we have Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman. Rick, what do we know so far?
Well, I want to say Elon Musk stepped in and solved this problem, but that's not what's happening. There's one thing he's not devoting his attention to. So the House Congress, as we've been discussing for the last several days, Congress does have the authority to step in and order a solution to a rail strike, and that's because there's law in the books that says railroad workers are essential workers. So what the House has done is they actually passed two bills. One says both sides need to accept the deal they've already agreed to in principle, the deal that's on the table, and that deal includes a decent pay increase, but only one day of paid sick leave per year. Then the House passed another bill, which is the same deal, but it includes 7 days of paid sick leave per year. So like any bill, this also needs to pass the Senate to have the force of law. And it does seem that the Senate can pass the deal that says approve the contract as it stands with the 1 day of sick leave. There may be that second bill introduced in the Senate. It seems unlikely that one will pass, however, because in the Senate, it's not a majority vote. It requires a 60 vote supermajority. So it doesn't look like there will be enough Republicans who would vote for those extra 6 days of sick leave. So I think the bottom line here is we're going to avert this rail strike, but the railroad workers are probably not going to get everything they want.
I'm also kind of curious, Rick, about what this tells us about this Congress. And, you know, they haven't been able to get that much done together, but this does seem like something that is relatively bipartisan on the spectrum of bipartisanship. So are there any sort of takeaways on that front?
I mean, let's keep in mind, this is still the Congress where Democrats control both houses. Nancy Pelosi is still the speaker, and she will be until the next Congress is seated at the beginning of January. So the Democrats are still in charge. And, you know, I think the one interesting storyline here is that the Democrats, this is Biden in the White House and also Nancy Pelosi, they have both said, look, we support the unions, but it is more important that we actually just keep the railroads functioning than that we go to the mat for the unions to get these extra days of sick leave. Is this abandoning the unions by the Democrats? I don't think so. But I think they realize that the economy is somewhat fragile still, and we're just getting supply chains repaired, now more than 2 years after all the disruptions that came with COVID. This is just the wrong time to risk even a half step backward in terms of supply chains that could mess everything up, cause goods shortages all over again. And we're just starting to see goods inflation come down. We don't want to mess that up. So this will be the last gasp for the Democrats in Congress. And next year, Republicans will control the House, and they'll be able to block most Democratic legislation if they want to, which they probably will.
All right. We'll see what progress gets made at that point, if any.